Fernando, Paul, and Nichole, thank you for your time. Congratulations on the documentary, Any One of Us. now, I got the fortune of screening it last night, and it was very powerful, man, your journey. For my fans at home, um, why did you decide to document this journey? And of course, there's probably a question also for Fernando. Can you talk a bit about that process, the decision behind it?
The reason I started documenting my whole situation was because I was so lost and there was no guidance whatsoever with this injury. And I thought it would be really important for me to document my situation. And come to, a couple months into it, I was still lost and still confused that there was no really information about the future of spinal cord injuries and what's happening and what actually goes into it. And I just thought it'd be really important for me to start documenting it, and never in a million years I think it was going to become a feature film.
I got involved about 9, 10 months after the accident, and so at that point we had seen what Paul had shot, right? And so we took over the reins of the shooting kit. He had been doing all the shooting on his own up until then, which is mind-boggling because I've seen the material and it's powerful material, and just to think that he did it all on his own was just incredible. And then seeing their relationship come through in that raw footage was just powerful. And we were thinking, how are we going to tell the story, right? And then we're watching. The more we watch, and then Paul starts to talk about, that he wants to be a guide for people who find themselves in this situation in the future. And then we came upon this idea of like, okay, well, very simply, let's make it a tactical film, a tactical field guide if you find yourself in this situation. And that was our jumping off point. And it was inspired through not only through his actions, but through his words.
One of the things fascinating about this documentaries that I saw was the juxtaposition of the other, I guess you could say, subject matters or characters who also have spinal cord injury, and parallel to your experience, and also your relationship, of course, with Nichole. Because some of them said like, "Oh yeah, I told my fiance, hey, maybe you should let me go because you're not gonna want to keep being with a guy like me." Can you talk a bit about tackling that aspect of your struggle and dilemma, and also in relation to your relationship with Paul and Nichole?
So for me, there was no question whether or not I was staying with Paul. Paul's my partner in life, and the injury would not have changed anything, and it hasn't changed anything. And I never saw Paul differently from the injury. So yeah, that's my story there.
Yeah, I can add a little bit onto it. And Nichole and I, we started dating 9 years ago, and when we first started dating, I was at the peak of my career, right? So she saw me at the very high, and all of a sudden she's been seeing me at the very low. And when I was at the very low, I made it very clear to her. I was like, "You did not sign up for this. You can step away. It's not fair to you. Like, this sucks. This is not the guy that you are dating, and I actually was trying to have her leave me, but she didn't go anywhere. She's still here. And yeah, and obviously now we're engaged, and couldn't even think of a better lady to spend my whole life with.
Yeah, I just want to add a little bit about the 17 individuals. The thing about it is that every spinal cord injury is different. But when you think about it, it's not just the injury, it's every relationship is different. Every family is different. People react differently. And while we do focus on Paul and Nichole, we wanted to tell the story. We wanted to show how spinal cord injury can happen to anybody at any time. I mean, over 250,000 people around the world every single year suffer a spinal cord injury. And most of those people suffer the injury in car accidents or falls, so literally doing things that you and I do every single day. So we wanted to add that aspect of the story into the film to broaden it, and so people can understand that this is something that affects all of us, can affect all of us, and those 17 individuals are so powerful, and they're so moving, and they have their own stories of relationships, and you know how, well, my boyfriend left, or my husband stayed with me, you know. So it's like it's all different, and we wanted to humanize in the end people who have disabilities or people who are in wheelchairs.
I'm asking the questions that my fans would want to know about because I know you were very successful as a professional biker. What's it like not being able to do what you love? You know, that's the thing. Because a lot of people, billions of people on Earth, will go to their graves doing the jobs that they hate. But you got to do something that you love and professionally, and for a time you were not able to do that. What was that like for you?
It was very depressing. You know, here you are, you work so hard to achieve your goals, right? As when I was a child, I always made a goal to myself that I wanted to be a professional athlete, whether it's on two wheels or something, right? And when you work your whole life to accomplish that, and then all of a sudden it gets taken away from you, it's it was very emotional, and I was in a dark space. You know, like you know, I spend majority of my time in the mountains on my bike. Um, that's my lifestyle. That's who I am. And when that got taken away, I was very lost.
I think it's important to mention too that like you found other ways to find happiness off the bike. So you were so dependent upon your bike to make you happy, or you're so dependent upon going into the mountains to make you happy. And once you couldn't do that, in a weird way, I think your world was opened to new things and finding new happiness doing different things.
Yeah, absolutely right. She's absolutely right. You know, I started discovering other activities, other hobbies. You know, I started learning how to fly an airplane, just other things I would never thought would even catch my interest. You know, and it definitely made me look at other avenues.
Right, and just real quick, I think choice is very important. And as an able-bodied person, you have a lot of choices. As a disabled person, you have less choices, right? Some choices are taken away from you, like the ability to compete at a high level. But your choice to live, you can still make that choice. And everybody in the film makes that choice. And we see Paul wrestle with, like, how am I going to reinvent my life, reclaim my body, reclaim my life, and it's incredibly inspiring to see him go through that journey and come out the other side, and then also include the voices of the other people in the film, and see how they reclaim their lives and they make choices to keep living and to find new ways of enjoying their lives, and that's quite powerful, because we all face adversity. We all can be faced with something unexpected that tests us, and that's universal. Overcoming adversity is something that we can all relate to.
Here's a two-parter question for you guys. Were there any footage of the documentary that got kind of left in the cutting room floor? And I was like, oh, we couldn't fit that in because of runtime purposes, whatnot. And also, the second question is, do you keep in touch with the individuals in the documentary feature? Are you a part of a group, you know, that hangs out with them, spinal cord injury victims or survivors, if you will?
There's a lot left on the floor. There always is, but in this film, there's more. And we interviewed every chorus member, every individual, for an hour. So that's 17 hours of the most amazing testimony to life that you'll ever see. And we can only fit maybe a half an hour of it. So just contemplate the 16 and a half hours that aren't in the film. And then there's Paul's story, you know, just the daily, you know, ups and downs, you know, because it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and you know, you make these choices, and you know, you want to have a running time that people can enjoy, so you have to make these I think difficult decisions, but in the end, you know, what matters is the film.
And then as far as being in touch with some of those casts, absolutely. And it was pretty cool. We had one yesterday at the premiere, Mike, and we talk every week, and we inspire each other. We always try to help each other because he's actually pretty well off. He can walk without any assistance. So I look up to him, and I want my recovery to be as strong as his, and it's awesome. And the spinal cord community will always be with me. I have the scar on my back; it's not going anywhere, and it's me for the rest of my life, and I'll always will be involved with this injury. Yeah, I mean that's the scary thing about spinal cord injuries is that every injury is so different, and my recovery is different than a lot of other recoveries. No, there's no one recovery that's the same as far as this injury.
I guess as I'm winding down to my final question, I want to ask for all three of you, what do you hope this documentary would give to the audiences? What do you hope the audiences will take away from it? Especially people who are feeling down, not necessarily because of spinal cord injury. They may feel purposeless or rudderless because for whatever reason. Because your story is very inspiring. So, what do you hope that they would take away from this?
For me, I hope we all face some type of adversity, and it doesn't matter who you are or what the situation. We all have struggles, right? We're always fighting something, right? And I think it's important that we tell a story that everybody can overcome their struggles, whether it's depression to spinal cord injuries to whatever the situation is, right? Like that's hopefully what I want the people to kind of take away from this film.
Yeah, for me, a lot of it is education. I want people to really see exactly what goes into it. And we're so grateful that we've been given the opportunity to do that, even though it is very raw and it's very personal, but it needs to be shown. Because when we were in that position, I wish that there was some sort of guide or movie or something like that that could really help us. Yeah, and I think I just want to obviously raise money for a cure too. Like that is really what we're passionate about, and I feel like I want people to understand that this is happening and it can happen and they can be a part of so much. So it's not just us, it's not the chorus members, it's not the 17 beautiful individuals that have suffered or any spinal cord injuries. Like we're all in it together, and I like to be that one little spot, that hub where we can be those people that others can come to.
I mean, they answered it perfectly. Yeah. But yeah, it is an inspiring story, and I think people need to know that they have that they can choose to move forward and to get help, to get healthy, to heal, to grow, and it is the most amazing part of this whole endeavor, in my opinion, is that all the proceeds of the film will be donated to Wings for Life. And Wings for Life is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to cure paralysis, to cure spinal cord injuries. So that is something that I think is truly special, and something that if you watch this movie, you're going to get behind that mission. You're going to get behind that cause. So we're all very proud of that, to be a part of that.
So thank you so much for this wonderful documentary. I hope it gives a lot of people hope. And congratulations once again. Thank you for your time.